A healthy 19-year-old goes to bed with a mild headache. By morning, his lungs are filling with fluid. 48 hours later, he's dead. No warning, no prior illness, and the doctors treating him have absolutely no idea what killed him. That was 1993 in the Four Corners region of the American Southwest. And it wasn't just him. People were dying fast, all with the same terrifying pattern, and nobody could explain it. The CDC launched one of the most intense investigations in its history. What they found would change virology forever, and what they uncovered had actually been killing humans for thousands of years before anyone gave it a name. This is the origin of the hantavirus. And if you think this is just ancient history, think again. Let's go back, way back, because the story of hantavirus doesn't start in 1993. It actually starts on a battlefield in Korea during the early 1950s. Thousands of United Nations soldiers were getting sick with what looked like a brutal flu. Fever, muscle pain, and then something far worse. Their kidneys started shutting down. Over 3,000 troops were infected. Hundreds died. The US military had no clue what was hitting them. The disease was eventually called Korean hemorrhagic fever, and for decades it was treated like a regional mystery. But scientists had a theory. They suspected rodents, specifically a striped field mouse common throughout Asia called the Epotamus agrarius. The hunch was right. This tiny mouse was carrying something deadly in its urine, droppings, and saliva, and soldiers were unknowingly breathing it in when they disturbed the soil or slept near infested areas. The virus was real. They just couldn't isolate it yet. That changed in 1976. A South Korean virologist named Ho Wang Lee finally managed to isolate the virus from those field mice. He named it after the Hantan River near where the samples were collected. Hantavirus had an official identity at last. But here's the thing that should make you deeply uncomfortable. That same virus, or close relatives of it, had almost certainly been circulating in human populations long before Korea. Evidence from ancient Chinese texts describes a disease matching hantavirus symptoms going back over 1,000 years. This killer was not new. Humanity had just been ignoring it. So how does it actually work? Here's where it gets genuinely horrifying. Unlike most viruses spread by coughs or handshakes, hantavirus spreads through the air, specifically through particles of infected rodent waste that become airborne when disturbed. You don't need to be bitten. You don't need to touch anything directly. You just need to breathe in the wrong place at the wrong time. Someone cleaning out an old shed, a hiker resting near a rodent nest, a farmer clearing a field, that's enough. And with certain strains, your chances of surviving once your lungs are involved can drop to as low as 60%. Now back to 1993, the outbreak in the Four Corners region wasn't caused by the original Korean strain. This was something new, a previously unknown strain that would later be named Sin Nombre, which is Spanish for without a name, which is somehow both poetic and deeply unsettling. The carrier this time was the deer mouse, one of the most common rodents in North America, found in virtually every US state. Scientists discovered that a wet winter had caused an explosion in deer mouse populations that year, which pushed the mice closer to human homes and dramatically increased exposure risk. Within months of the investigation, the death toll had climbed to over 50 people, with a case fatality rate of around 40%. That is not a typo. 4 out of 10 people who developed full hantavirus pulmonary syndrome did not make it. And here's the cliffhanger. Nobody talks about the deer mouse didn't go anywhere. It's still out there, by the hundreds of millions. Since the Four Corners outbreak, hantavirus has continued to quietly claim lives across the Americas. In 2012, 3 visitors to Yosemite National Park died after staying in signature tent cabins that turned out to have rodent infestations. Over 10,000 people who had visited the park were notified that they may have been exposed. Think about that. A family vacation, a national park, and a virus with a 40% kill rate waiting in the walls. Meanwhile, in South America, a different strain called Andes virus has managed something even more alarming: human-to-human transmission. Every other hantavirus strain requires contact with infected rodents. Andes doesn't. In Argentina and Chile, documented cases show the virus jumping directly from person to person. That is a line that most hantavirus strains have never crossed. And the fact that one already has should genuinely concern you. Scientists today know of over 50 different hantavirus strains spread across rodent populations on nearly every continent. Most don't infect humans, but enough do. And as climate change shifts rodent habitats, pushes mice into new regions, and causes the kind of boom and bust population cycles that increase human contact. The conditions for future outbreaks are not going away. They're getting better. Better for the virus, that is. What makes hantavirus so uniquely terrifying isn't just the death rate, it's the silence. A person can be infected for 1 to 8 weeks before symptoms even begin. During that incubation period, they have no idea. And once symptoms start, the window to act is brutally short. The lungs can fail within 24 to 48 hours of serious symptoms appearing. There is still no specific antiviral treatment, no vaccine, nothing you can take to fight it once it takes hold. Supportive care only, and hope. So what do you do with this information? Well, for starters, if you're cleaning out an old garage, a cabin, or anywhere rodents might have been, wear a proper respirator. Not a cloth mask, a respirator. Wet down surfaces before sweeping so you don't kick particles into the air. And take outbreaks of small mammals seriously in your region. Because historically speaking, where rodent populations spike, human cases follow. The hantavirus has been killing humans, longer than any of our recorded history fully captures. It hid in plain sight for millennia, wearing different names in different countries. Korean hemorrhagic fever, epidemic hemorrhagic fever, nephropathia epidemica. All the same category of threat, all quietly overlooked. That's the thing about yesterday's secrets. They don't disappear just because nobody's talking about them. They wait. If this video made you think about something you never considered before, drop a comment below with what surprised you most. Like this video if you think more people should know about hantavirus, and subscribe to Yesterday's Secret, because he's full of things that should never be forgotten.